off the pad and it triggers everybody in the world. Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel, and yet again another episode on the CB750 K2 project. Just sort of finishing up the last little bits really on the wiring before I can tape up the loom, get the bike put back together, chuck some tyres on it, you know, and ship it back to Alan. During the initial inspections, and specifically the volt drop test video on the primary circuit of the ignition. Oh, Postman's here. Back in a second. Jeez, that's a heavy parcel. Look at that. We'll save that for the live stream on Sunday. There's a live stream every Sunday, New Zealand time, 8:30 AM. Don't miss it. It's a good time to ask a few questions. Okay, so where were we? Yes, that's right. In the past, there was a previous episode where we inspected the condition of the primary circuit wiring on the bike. Now, in standard format, when the bike was born in the factory, the current for the primary winding of the ignition coils had to flow through the ignition switch and the kill switch. And that used to cause quite a lot of arcing on the contacts on both those two pieces of switchgear. And over a long period of time, that will cause points of high resistance. And that's what we saw in that volt drop test. Now, the ignition switch is going to get replaced. I've got to fit a new one because it's nearly 50 years old, don't forget. But the kill switch, I can't really go to paying out for a brand new kill switch. And it may not even be available anymore. And it'll be part of the whole switchgear on the right-hand side of the handlebars. Pretty expensive, I reckon. So no need for that. We're just going to pull it off the bike, dig our way in, have a look and see how bad the contacts are, and if it can be cleaned up, then it will be. Now, to prevent any future problems on this particular bike, I actually fitted an ignition relay, which means now that the original circuit only triggers the relay, and the relay now carries the current to the ignition coils. So those contacts are not going to burn again. Okay, right, to the bike. Let's crack on. Now, on the Honda CB750 K2, the kill switch, just here, look, is an integral part of the right-hand switchgear and the throttle too. So we need to undo these two bolts. There's a couple of cap head bolts, one here, one here. They're a 4mm. We'll get those undone, and then we'll get that taken off the bars. Now, one thing to bear in mind is the wiring for this is discrete. It runs down the inside of the bars. So we need to put a bit of wire or a bit of string through there so we can feed it back through easily when we pull it out. Don't just pull it straight out. It'd be a nightmare to get back in again. That's one. Longest screw on that side. Right, so let's take a look. Okay, we're going to need to disconnect throttle cables from the twist grip. Now, to do that, we've got to remove the throttle cables from the carburetors. No easy task, to be fair. There's always more than one job, but the throttle cables on these are the throttle is actually quite heavy on this particular bike, so it'd be quite good to get these cables taken off and all lubed up. In actual fact, you can see here, look, the outer sheathing has cracked and it's quite rusty inside. So it may be time for a new set of throttle cables. We'll have to see how we get on. It's easy to undo these adjusters, and we need two spanners to do this because it's turning down the bottom. See if I can get in from this side. It's not as easy working around the camera, to be fair. Once that's slackened off, we can just slide that across out of the little U-clamp. There we are, that should do the trick. So we can push it across with both spanners, And she's out. Excellent stuff. We're just going to push it across and get the nipple taken out. Excellent stuff. Right, now for the nipple. Just before I pull it out, I'm just going to mark it with some paint pen so I know which cable goes on which bracket. Save any kind of problems a bit later on. Okay, let's see if we can get that nipple taken out now. It's a bit tight down here. Oh, there we go, look, fantastic. Right, that's one throttle cable done. Now the other throttle cable is a lot easier to get to from the left hand side. So we'll just hold that nut and we'll undo this one. And like I say, you'll need to do a few turns and we should be able to slide that string out of the clamp. Bit more. Nearly there. Right, can we turn that nut round? We can. Look at that. Excellent job. Right, now for the nipple. There we go. Super. Right, we'll pull those throttle cables through now. Now, the routing of the throttle cables is critical on motorcycles because if you get it wrong, it can cause some serious problems. One of which, you know, when you go into full lock right normally, the throttle can start to wind itself on. So, I just want to run, before I pull those cables through, assuming that they're in the right place now, I just want to run a piece of old wire and follow the line of the cables. Then I can follow that route when I come to reinstall them, and that way I'm guaranteed to get in the right place. It's going to save a lot of time later on. Okay, so we can now pull the cables through and away from the bike. It's 1, 2, perfect. Now, all that's left to do now is to pull through the wiring harness that runs inside the handlebar. Old school, I know. But before we do that, we need to have a look and see what connectors it's connected to, disconnect it all, and then connect a small piece of wire to the end of one of those terminals so it feeds through the bars as we pull it through, because we're going to need that to thread it back through again later on. So this is the wire, or the cluster of wires coming down from that switchgear. I know this from previous videos because I've already labelled some of these wires up for the switch, for the kill switch. So we've got this one, the black. We've got the black with a white. That's the kill switch wiring. That's what we tested previously, and that's why it's already labelled up. Now, what else have we got? Well, we should have some lighting wiring going on. So we've got blue. Oh my word, what's going on here? Honestly, there are so many bodges on this bike, it's unbelievable. Oh, I see, the insulation's too small for some reason. Alright, so we'll pull that out. Oh, look at that. What's going on? Where's my pliers? So it was that one, wasn't it? There we go. Now these connectors are really bad. I can see lots of work about to happen. Right, we'll have that one out of there. Wasn't too bad. Old though, look at that. Bit of cloth around the end of it, which is also a cut. That's not original, definitely not. Okay, and we've got a brown. Where does Mr. Brown go? Mr. Brown goes down there. There he is. It's just a bird's nest of wires, isn't it? None of them are particularly well connected. Okay, got those, got that one. We've got another black, which is, believe it or not, a positive on a Honda. Green is negative, just for reference. Right, one left. Yellow with a red tracer, which also looks pretty bad. Yeah, look at that, all that bare wire. Jeez, that's terrible. Okay. So that's all freed off, so we can pull that through to get away from the bird's nest. So that now needs to be pulled through the bars. That's quite a substantial bit of wiring to thread through the bars, to be fair. So I think what we'll do first of all is we're going to tape up all of this just to get it as compact as we can, just using one layer of tape. And then whilst we're taping it, we'll put a piece of wire in it as well, just to act as a lead wire, as a guide. Just have a quick look at this. It looks really, really tight, unfortunately, but hey, it's got to be done. There's a good chance I'm going to be replacing some of this wiring anyway once we get in there, because it's the job's suddenly got a lot bigger, to be perfectly honest. Just trying to keep the profile of the whole thing as low as possible, nothing sort of sticking out or running across the wiring. I mean, it must be possible because, you know, Mr. Honda got it in there. Right, that's all that taped up and relatively tidy, I would say. Okay, now we need to put a piece of wire onto this bit more white wire that I'm kicking around, just onto there to act. We can leave in the bars for later on. That's going to help us pull it back through. Hopefully, he says. The joys of editing. Right, that should be enough. Don't want to put too much on because it's going to make the whole thing harder to get through later on. Okay, done. Right, let's get some silicone spray and just spray all this in silicone. That might help it to get through the bars a bit easier. Yeah. Right. See if we can get that pulled out now. Just going to unhook these two throttle cables, I think. Get rid of all that. Okay, before I pull them out, I'm going to mark one of the cables to the actual slider. Again, so I can't get it mixed up later on. It makes life so much easier. There we go, that's one. And that one's already falling out. Jeez. There we go. Okay, now next job is to undo these nuts. Look like a 14mm. All because Mr. Honda decided to thread the cables through the bars. Thanks, Honda. Not impressed. Not impressed at all. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. Cool, yeah. Right, let's get that one out of the way first. This could be a video on how to remove your throttle cables. Well, that doesn't want to come out of there. Let's try this one. That's that one out. Cool. Let's have another go with this one now. See now, look. It seems excessively tight. Oh, there we go. Cool. Done. Okay, now we can get in and hopefully pull that through. Jeez, it's ridiculously tight. I have a sneaky suspicion, you know, I'm going to have to remove this little console here, because the wiring seems to tuck under there, and it may well be clamped down by that, inadvertently possibly. I think I've just got to man up and give it a good tug, because it's not clamped under the console. I've had a good look. Wow. I can get a little bit of movement. Where's that silicone spray? Honestly, if it's hard to get out, it's going to be a nightmare to get back in again. Jeez, bars. Stay still. Way! Steady hoist. We are getting some movement. So if I can get some to run down the inside of the bars, that might help. Honestly, who designed this? God. That is ridiculous. Well, I might as well take the bars off. I'm going to take the bars off, stuff it. Get in there, mister. Jeez, that was loose. Wow, I'm pleased I undid that. That was loose. Well, that was a much bigger job than expected, wasn't it? Right, let's get in the vise and see if we can whittle those wires out. I reckon there's going to be quite a bit of editing on this bit, because it doesn't look like a fun job at all. Right, we've got our little guide wire. We're not going to pull that all the way through, obviously. As soon as it's come through, we'll leave the white one in there. Jeez. Oh, man. Now, fortunately, this vise has got aluminium jaws, so it's not going to damage the chrome. I just feel sorry for the guy in the factory having to thread all these through. Ooh, I found some yellow tape. That means there's been a fix we need to know about. Oh, we're on a roll now. Oh, yes. Nearly there. We've done it. Fantastic. That actually was about the easiest part of the job. Okay, we'll just snip that off. And we've got a little white wire to go back through. Brilliant. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, there we go. That's all my stuff that I put on. Now, what interests me is this bit of yellow. I keep coming across bits of yellow and blue insulation tape on this bike, and every single time I take some off, there's usually something really bad hiding underneath. Well, I'm going to completely redo this one, I think. So I'm going to work from the side. I think it'll be a bit easier for me. Tell me if I go off camera, will you? You can shout all you like, I won't be able to hear you. Something is going on in here. I don't think this is Honda. I think somebody's been in. So let's just have a little inspection without releasing too much blood, hopefully. Just a bit of sheathing, that's all that was. So why was that yellow wire in here? What's going on? All right, I have some more of this, so we're gonna cut this open, I think, and we'll fit some fresh later on. Don't cut yourself, Andy. Usually I do cut myself. Place your bets. You'll be so careful. It doesn't matter because I'm going to replace the wiring, but I only want to replace what I need to replace, not all of it, hopefully. Depends what kind of condition it's in. There we go. If you see me nick a wire, let me know, because I'll need to obviously change it. And can I pull the whole thing off? Yes, I can. Right. Is it going to come off all the way? You look at this end, tell me what's going on. Not sure if we can get all those plugs down there or not, to be honest. Obviously the plugs were put on after the sheathing was fitted. I just felt, oh there we are, yes, I thought I felt some metal going on. Way easy, tiger. So what we're looking for here are some repairs. Has somebody been in? Because that yellow wire, that yellow insulation tape was not put on in the factory, which nearly, which means somebody has or previously removed these. It's probably had a new set of bars at some point as well. To be fair, it's a 50-year-old motorcycle, and handlebars often get bent, don't they? Oh, I think I did just nick a wire then. Sorry, Alan. Just really sort of scoring it so that when I pull the wire back, it breaks through the last bit, but sometimes it's not that easy. Nearly there, nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. Am I still on camera? I have no idea. There we go. Right, let's get rid of all that crap. Okay. So we can get rid of this bottom piece and two of the wires, so we can start to have a better look. I need a little posi screwdriver. Okay. Right, so that little clip there. It's all very rudimentary stuff, isn't it, inside? 1, 2. Okay, so that is just the yellow with the red wire, a red tracer, which is the start button. Cool. I'll take that apart later on. And oh, the wire's just hanging off. Let's have a little look while we're in. Just to highlight the kind of condition of the wiring sometimes and the controls after all these years have been used and abused. Where's my pliers? Here we are. For once, they're next to me. Okay, so we've got Mr. Screw, Mr. Brackets. Let's get that one out of the way. Oh, look at that. It's already dropped out. Look at the state of that. I mean, it's not unexpected, but about half the wires have frayed off, and that's for the starter solenoid. And as regards burning, pitting, these are common for that kind of stuff, because again, there's no starter. Well, there's a starter relay, but it's still carrying some current for the starter solenoid. It's actually covered in oil as well. Look at that. So that needs a good clean up, some dielectric grease on it. It's going to be a full little overhaul, isn't it? We got a flat screwdriver. This was supposed to be like a two-hour job, and clearly it's not going to be. It's all this crap, look. To give that a good clean out, I think. That actually looks in pretty good nick. Okay, I'll stick all that over there because that's all separate to this particular video. I feel another video coming on now. Right. Okay, so we've got these two wires, the black with a white tracer and the black are the two wires that basically run or form part of the original primary ignition circuit on this particular bike. So I'm just gonna, I think what we'll do is we'll get some wire snippers. These will do. I'm just going to take, because I'm going to replace the, at the very least I'm going to replace the connectors anyway, so we're going to just snip that off and snip that off. In fact, let's try and do it as near as we can so we're maximising the length if we don't have to replace it. What kind of nick is this wire in? Oh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. What's the other one like? Now remember, on the original bike, the current for both ignition coils ran through this particular wire. So it's quite a bit, to be honest. Can't remember exactly what it is, but it's quite a bit. I think it's about 4 amps from memory. 3 ohm coils, about 4 amps. I still want to replace it. I do. Now that I'm done all this, I still want to replace it. I can see other problems in here. Let's get the light put on. Hang on. There we go. Look, that was pretty cool. I can turn it on while I'm still filming. That's excellent. You learn something every day, don't you? Right, trying to keep you in focus. Somebody's put some insulation tape in there because some of these wires are pretty bare. So all that needs sorting out as well. It's a pretty loose switch. Jeez, old bikes. Still works though. But it needs a really good clean. See, oh I see there's a step on there, right, okay. Yeah, needs a really good clean and some fresh dielectric grease put in there. But I need to sort these wires out because they're almost touching. Look at that. There's about 5 mil of bare wire on there. You see that? It's crazy, isn't it? Now, we still haven't got down to the original part of this video. This is all the lighting switch. We've got to follow that black and black with a white tracer wire right down into the depths of the switchgear to get to the kill switch. And it's the kill switch that's causing the problem. That's definitely got some burnt contacts. So, there's only one thing for it, Alan. Sorry. Alan's the owner of the bike, by the way. I'm going to have to undo this screw here. There we go, look. And I'm going to have to remove the lighting switch first. So I'll dig my way in. So we'll make another little pile of shrapnel. Come on, screw, you are out. What's going on? There we go, make another little pile over there. And there's a washer. Oh, magnetic screw pliers, that's even better. Okay, so how are we going to get that out? surely that will just come off there. Yes, there we are, look, right. Got that. And now we can just remove that, the switch. Oh wow, that's so rudimentary. Okay, lots of cleaning up to do on that. Right, we'll stick him over there because I've got wires to replace on that. I've got switchy cleaning up stuff to do. Wow, there's no kind of datum. Normally you get like a little ball bearing and a spring to provide some kind of datum to the position of the switch, but not on this one. Okay, so we'll stick that one over there with the rest of the shrapnel because that's to do with the start button. This is a full overhaul now, isn't it, of this bloody switchgear. Okay, so now we've got buried in there is the kill switch. How the hell do we get that out of there? Okay, I think we have to undo or remove that little tiny circlip. Can you see that down there? Look, there's a little tiny circlip just there. Focus. God damn, there you are. Look, you can see it now. So we're going to get that out. Let's get you a bit closer. Holy moly. I've got to put this thing back together again yet. Go on, little circlet. Somebody fitted you one day. Surely that has to come off there. I'm sure it does. Must be just in the right position to get it out. Oh, there we go, look. Just a bit more grunt required. Right, there he is. Let's not lose that. That's tiny. Right, I'll make a new pile of bits. Oh, God. Okay, so now we should be able to push. Yes, there we are, look. Brilliant. And push the whole assembly through. And pull those wires through as well. Super job. Okay. Well, at least they're still coppery colour, aren't they? So, just, oh my word, something just fell out. Yeah, it's got a little tiny, is that going to focus or is it too close? There, look, it's got a little tiny contact piece. It's not black by any means. Okay, just threading that off. Right, there is. Should be a little ball bearing in here. I would suggest. Maybe. It's got to have some kind of detent mechanism. So we've got a hole there, and a hole there. Ah, there he is. He was hiding behind the camera. Right. So we've got a ball bearing. There he is. And the ball bearing, is that magnetized? It's not. Is that magnetized? It is. That goes on that spring. There he is. And this piece sits, centralize. Oh, it's fallen off again. What the hell? Goes on there. And then this piece with the two little tiny bits fits. Oh, I won't bother putting it back in. Fits in there. But I want to check the integrity of the spring. So without firing it across the workshop, here we go. Is that spring actually doing anything? No, not really. So ball bearing back out. Let's hook that, go away. We'll hook that little spring out there. This is taking my eyesight to the absolute limits these days, this kind of stuff. Okay, there is the spring for the ball bearing, and this is the spring, and these things are so small. You know, you can see there, look, it's absolutely tiny. It's these things that tend to very quickly corrode and lose their springiness. Oh, what a camera, honestly. That one actually is pretty good. I'm not sure about this one there. This one may have just got too squashed. That's a really tough spring, actually. So maybe it just needs stretching a little bit. Don't know. We'll have to find out. So, contacts. This one here needs a bit of a clean, so we can use our blade for that. I'm just going to scrape it across. Excellent, that's that one done. Now, again, look at the amount of wire that's exposed. If they were to touch and you turn the bike to the off position, it would keep running. Oh man, I need to sort that out. It's going to get new wiring anyway, so it's alright. I'm going to replace these wires for sure. So I'll just solder on some new bits. But for the video, let's take a little look at these contact points. So first of all, let's just clean all the crap off this little, is it Formica? I don't know, what's it called, this stuff? It's old school, isn't it? Here we go. Right, now we can clean the contacts. I'm hoping you're staying in focus, Mr. Camera. Now remember, this has to have contact for the bike to run. Now on a standard CB750 K2, the current for the ignition coils is running through these terminals. On this one, I've installed a separate ignition relay, so all the only current that's going through here is what's triggering the relay now, which is like, I don't know, 0.2 of an amp or something. It's bugger all, to be honest. But they're actually in pretty good nick. It must just be in the dirt on the contacts that was causing that volt drop. That and possibly the spring pressure on the holding the contacts together. Cool. That is super clean now. Very happy with that. Right, I'll take a look at these indents that should be here in the switchgear. So I'm going to give it a bit of a clean so we can see what's really going on, because it wasn't that clear before. Don't want to damage the paint on the outside if I can help it. There we go. Okay, so you can clearly see now the 3 indents, and that's what gives the switch its sort of click, click, click. So when it's on there and you're in the on position, it actually, oh, let's get it back through there again, look. It actually gives it the click, click, click into position. It also helps to maintain the switch in that position. So that little ball bearing and the spring, which is just over there, they're actually quite critical. They need to be in operating condition. So at the moment, the little spring that sits in, this is very fiddly, isn't it? The little spring that fits in there, where's my pliers? Honestly, my fingers are way too big for this kind of stuff. Right, there we go. Oh, come back. Jesus. You'll have more fun than I am doing this. Right, that goes into there. We'll use this because it's not magnetized. But the problem is it sits below the surface, and the ball bearing, and I don't know if this is the original one or not, but the ball bearing is too large to go down the hole. You see there, look, it won't. Oh, does it? Oh, it does now. Look at that. Okay, that's excellent news. So if we pop that back over the top, push it down, I can actually feel the indent working. So that's all good. That part of it, you can actually hear it now, look. That bit's working just fine. And as regards the contact, I'm pretty sure that that's okay as well, to be honest. It was just dirty, basically. I'll make sure that I might just stretch the spring a fraction before I put it back in again. But what's more important before we can reassemble this, obviously I need to give the whole thing a good clean, is we need to solder on a couple of new wires onto these terminals. So it's going to be time for some soldering. I'm pretty dubious, to be honest, because I don't want to damage it, but you know, it's got to be done. It has to be done. It's got a bit of protective sleeving down here, so I'll fit that to the new wiring. So it's about what? Just for reference for the video, it's about 25 mil from the switch is where that starts. So I can watch my video when I come to put it back together again. Okay, I need to mount that somehow in something so I can. There's even strands sticking off that wiring. And I've only got black. I don't have black with a white tracer, unfortunately, so I have to just do both of them in black. It makes no difference because it's just a switch with a wire off either side of the contact, so it won't be a problem. Okay, we find something to hold that so I can get my soldering iron out. It's amazing what you find kicking around your workshop, isn't it? So, a bit of box section, a couple of little crocodile clips, and a bit of wire. That should hold it just while I get these this desoldered. And no, I don't have a posh desoldering thing. Just talk amongst yourselves while this soldering iron warms up. Shouldn't take too long. There we go. Right, we've got one. Two. There we go. Okay, the board's still intact. That was just, I think, some of the flux out of the solder just bubbling away happily. Right, let's have a little scrape. Yes, it was just the flux. The board's fine. Hasn't melted the board at all. Good job. Right, so now what we need is some more wire. And that's the second roll of solder I'm about to buy in New Zealand. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to give it a little. I'll take off the smallest amount off the end. That probably is too much. On camera, Mr. Young, on camera. There we go, look, same again on this one. And we could even sort of slide a bit of heat shrink down it right onto the joint once it's done. Oh, geez. Because we need to make sure that these two don't make contact. Because if they do, the bike won't stop. The kill switch won't, effectively, it won't work. It won't do what a kill switch is supposed to do, and that would be a warrant fail anyway if it went for a warrant. Okay, let's get this warmed up. Let's push that to one side for a second. Let's want to tin these up first. Shouldn't take too long to warm up. Now, feel free to comment as much as you like about my soldering, because I know it's not the best. I'm not an electronics person, I'm a mechanic. Right, that's that one. Maybe a touch more. Okay, and to the one. Come over here, mister. Right. Okay, motors action. Without burning myself, hopefully. Now, I think they want to go like that. That still looks too long. I'm just going to trim that down a bit. I don't like that. Let's just trim him down a fraction. It's a bit too much on there. Yep, that's all I want. Just the smallest bit to maintain as much insulation as we can. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera with my cap. What the hell's that going down the road? Right, I think it needs a bit more solder on there. It sort of sucked it all up off the contact. It's probably going to fall off now. Let's try it again. Okay, let's take a look. I don't know, what do you think? I reckon that'll do the trick. I reckon that's pretty neat actually. It's better than what I thought it was. Super. Right, we'll do the other one just like that, he says. About 6 attempts later. Oh, wire's all tangled up. Okay, second bit of wire coming in. Now, first job, need to cut it down a bit more because it's just a little bit too long. Perfect. Okay, I say perfect, I mean perfect in my world. It could be very imperfect for some people. How does that look? Oh, I think we'll be alright with that, don't you? I think that has come out a lot better than I thought it was. Super job. So we can now just get some heat shrink and slide it right down up to the surface and shrink that on. And then that's done. Brilliant. Right, we'll get rid of that. I found some heat shrink, look. Tiny bit. So I've got enough, just enough to do 2. So hopefully it's going to fit. It just snugly goes over the wire. So hopefully it's going to go over the solder bit as well. Let's have a look. Got this wire everywhere. Okay, here we go. Is it going to be big enough? Yes. Perfect. Right, we need one more of them. This, you could call this perfection, but I think we're far from it. Right, where's the other one? Let's thread him down there, look. I'm knocking stuff, 7 bells of shit out of all the other stuff that's on this bench. But these wires. Right, pop him down there, look, is it going to fit on this one? Ooh, I hope so. This one's a bit tighter. Yes, there we go, look. Cool, yeah? Right, we need some heat. There we go, not too much heat. That'll do, grommets. Well, I think that's a massive improvement. Very happy with that. Now, there was also some more sheathing, wasn't there? About, what was it, about 25mm down. So maybe we can use the old sheathing for that. It's already shaped and everything. Yeah, that bit there, look. Oh, he's off again. He's working out what a rev limiter's for, that's what he's doing. Is that going to come off there? If it is or not. Where's my snippers? It might be glued on, in which case it's heat shrink, probably. Oh. Yeah, that's stuck on there, isn't it? See, it's pulling the copper through. Okay, I'll go and find a bit of heat shrink and we'll use that. I might even have some sheathing. Let's see what we've got. No sheathing, unfortunately. Only heat shrink. We have to use what we've got. I can't keep popping out and getting stuff all the time. There we go, look, that'll work. Now, it was the length of these two back, so it's a little bit further back. That'll do, perfect. More heat. That'll do. Cool, yeah? Right, where's my wire brush? Let's give that a very ginger wire brush across the top, just to get rid of the last of the dirt. I reckon that'll do just fine. Fine and dandy. Right, I need to give this casing a clean out. I'll get some brake clean on that and a little brush, and then we can reassemble it. You don't need to watch me clean it out. I'm pretty sure you can work that out for yourselves. I think we're about there. It's good enough for the girls I go with anyway, says Eric. That's not my line, that's Eric O. Before you start telling me off for that kind of stuff. Jeez. Sorry, Eric. We have a laugh, don't we? Okay, that's clean enough. So, all that's left to do now is put the whole thing back together with some fresh dielectric grease. Now, we were just going to stretch the spring, weren't we, a little bit for the contact. So, jeez, it's tiny. There we go, that will do. I'm not going to go mad. Just a little bit to offset the many years this motorcycle has done. And who knows, this might not be the original switchgear. It probably is, but who knows. There we go. Right, where is the ball bearing? There he is. We'll stick him in there. Oh, good shot. And we need the contactor. This will be a bit harder, I think. Oh, look at that. It's in. That was a good shot, a good punt. Let's see if it's going to go up and down. Yes. He's happy. That's good. Now, we need to apply some grease. So I'm using the Forge dielectric grease, which is S421. You've seen me use this before. It's bloody good stuff, but you've got to give it a damn good shake. So back in a minute. Right, we'll pop that on there. Ready? Here we go. No, there's probably way too much on there, but I'm sure it'll settle down. Now, where's our bit of wire and the contacts? Okay, so we need to thread this through, and that goes up. From this side, hang on, let me get the wires. So we'll thread that through there. I'm only going from memory. I could be completely wrong. I think I'm right though. There we go. Right, just going to get that lined up. That will sit in there. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, I'm just going to keep that in position by pulling on the wire very gently, just so we can put the whole thing together. Right, I need to offer this down onto the switch, because obviously otherwise everything will just move around. Let's just put a bit more spray on these contacts, I think. There we go. Okay, we're going in. Right, now the critical part. And you've all been waiting for this to see how the hell Andy's going to get this little tiny circlet back on. Well, I don't know, to be honest. It doesn't appear to be that easy. Just push those to one side. There should be a bit of giving them. Okay. So I've got to keep that switch together whilst I do this. Otherwise, it'll all fall apart. Just try and get it in position. It's got to come in from the side. Can you see this? Because I'm only ever going to do this once. I'm not doing a retake on this. And again, there might be some editing going on with this one. I'm sure you'll agree it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Come on, wires. Ooh, we're moving the switch. What would be ideal is those little tiny needle nose pliers, and you could just ping it off the back of there to get it on. Be a lot more controlled then. I'm struggling for room to get it in position to click it on, to be honest. Oh, we might be there. Halfway. Holy shit. I can't believe that. It's in. Look at that. That was tight. That was really tight. Good job. Woohoo! Now, I suppose the next job for me, which is not really part of this video, to be honest, is for me to fix up the light switch, basically. That looks like it's the same. It's not handed, so that can come off. If we turn it over, look at the mess with those wires. Somebody's tried to put some insulation tape in there to try and fix the problem. So I've got 4 more wires to fix. I might just... Oh, look at the state of this. I might have to replace them. I've got blue, that's not a problem. I've got black, that's not a problem. I just don't have red of the white tracer. I've got white. Yeah, I might just replace. I think I'll just replace them all. Be easier. So I'm going to have to replace all 4 of those wires, give the whole thing a clean up, and then install that. But one thing I did notice is if you look inside the actual casting, the top casting, which is the bit we've just been working on, it's got, again, these little detents, which are designed for a ball bearing and a spring to give that switch location. And I remember distinctly when I was moving this around, it was quite sloppy. And I've searched on the mat, and there was no second spring. There was only a spring in the engine kill switch. But here is, under a lot of dirt, is the spring itself, but there's no ball bearing. So I need to try and find a little ball bearing that's going to work with that. I have got some other old switch gears kicking around that I might be able to rob one from. That's probably about the same sort of size. Either that, or I'll just find I think maybe a bicycle bearing race might have something the right size in it. So I'll have a hunt round and find something. So while I've got the soldering iron out, I'm going to crack on with doing that one. And of course I really have to fix that one as well, don't I? It looks to me like somebody else has already been in there. That doesn't look a factory solder joint, to be honest. So yeah, we need to tidy that up. Right, I'm going to crack on. We're getting the rest of the switch, the switches fixed. That's the lighting switch and the start button as well. Get all that rewired and tied up and find that little ball bearing. And well, you can come back and have a look and see what I've done in a few minutes. See you shortly. Ta-da! There we go. Look, that's not bad, is it? So the next job is to clean up these contacts. So I've got some, what was it, Forge 570 electrical contact cleaner. They call it actually electronic switch and contact clean. Excellent. Right, see how good this is going to be. Oh, look at that. It's pretty good actually, isn't it? Got all the grease and all the crap. I think we'll just finish it off with a little wire brush. Now, there's this bit as well, isn't there? This is the bit that slides across between them. Mrs. Mechanic was up in Auckland today. She went up last night, so yesterday afternoon, and somebody drove into the back of her car and then gave her false details. So now the police are on a manhunt. What an arsehole. Honestly, there's just no need for it, is there? If you drive into somebody, you know, at least have the decency to give them the right details and stuff, rather than do a runner. Oh, this is strong stuff. There we go, that'll do. Cool, yeah. Oh. Right, let's give this a quick wire brush. Yes, it's the smallest wire brush that I have, sorry. It is what it is. One day I'll have every single possible tool. Be a long time yet there. Okay. So that runs on there. Like that. Seems to be working pretty well. Cool. We'll leave that on there for now. So the next dilemma is I need to find that ball bearing. That's the next job. And then he'll sit in there. It's getting a bit late. I'll see what I can find. Back shortly. Hoping a ball bearing out of this little bearing race might fit. I'm clutching at straws today. I really am. Don't ask me where I got it from. I can't tell you. I'll get into trouble. Probably. Okay, I'm just going to go and put a slit disc down the side of this outer race. And then we can pop on both sides and we can pop the bearings out. Easy. Ow! That's hot. Okay, let's get rid of the outer race. Don't need that anymore. That's the really hot bit. Go away. Okay. Well, without popping them out, what do you think? I reckon it might fit. It might, mightn't it? It might just fit. See if we can get one out with a... come back. Well caught, magnet. On the DTI stand. Good job. Yeah, I was stood there for about 5 minutes thinking, where can I get a ball bearing from? I hope this is going to fit. Oh, I nearly swore on YouTube. That is perfect. Good job. No expense spared. Alright, it's been quite a while since I pulled this apart today, so I might have forgotten how it all goes back together again, but what I do know is we need some silicone spray down there. There we go. That'll preserve it forever, will that, won't it? Jeez. Okay. So that needs to go on there. I've got the ball bearing, don't panic. Now, must just fit. There we are, look, that's it. There we go. Ball bearing back in its little hole. And it wasn't there before. There was definitely no ball bearing there before. How did that ball bearing stay on the end of there? I have no idea. Oh, come back. Right, there we go. He's in. I know you didn't see a lot of that, but it's in. Oh, that sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Beautiful. All right, a bit more spray, because you can never have enough spray. Right, now we've got to get... I'm going to bend or flex all the wires into position a bit later on, but I've got to get the little, well, this little thing actually, the switch back on. So how the hell did this go? You go that way around? I know it was a pain to get off. No, it must have gone that way, I think, like that. So let's try and get these wires out of the way. I don't want to stress the joint on the end of the board because it'll ping it off. Bear with me. This might not look good. I'm just concerned that that's even that way around, which is the way it goes. It's going to catch on that wire. I wonder if the wires were down the bottom. The whole thing was the other way up. There is a possibility. Right, watch out for the ball. There we go. Let's take that off there. I wonder if that sat around like that. I'm going to check the old footage. Back in a second. Nope, I was right. It's just the fact that that wire is right in the way. What's going on there? You know, I mean, how else can you solder it up, to be fair? I just don't want to damage the connections, you know. See if that's going to work. I have no idea. I'm not a switchgear kind of person, to be fair. I like to give things a go, though. To camera, Mr. Young, to camera. Damn. Get in there. Nope, he dropped out again. Little turnip. Spent all your life in a fan motor. There's a clue for you. And now you won't become part of a CB750. I mean, come on, that's a big upgrade. Last chance, then it's time for the pub. There we go. He's in. Right. So that needs to go right down there, really. It can't sit where it is because it's basically on the pivot. It needs to sit a lot further down. Who designs these things? You know, and if that rubs through, it's going to cause a short, isn't it? And shorts are never good. And it will be basically making the whole thing worse than it was. And that's not the plan. We're supposed to be making it better. It is leaving a mark, isn't it? I can see on the insulation there, like it's leaving a little mark on that heat shrink. I think I need to try and get that blue wire underneath the black. I think that's the only option. Right, maybe I'll have a play around with that. Right, well, I've tucked the blue wire underneath. I've got rid of the big piece of heat shrink that I had on there. I'll put that on once it's installed, I think. Oh, we nearly had it then. I was trying to get you a better shot for the camera. I twisted it out. So it's actually your fault. I'd have this done by now if it wasn't for the camera. Yes, we're in. Look at that. Whew, how many times did that take? Right, where's my non-sharp pushy thing gone? Because that blue wire's migrated up again. Jeez, don't damage it, don't damage it, don't damage it. When I soldered it on, I should have soldered them pointing downwards a little bit. I think we're going to be okay now. I think we've got enough clearance. And it wasn't pretty when I went in. Right. So that needs to... Oh, look at that. Even that lines up. Brilliant. Right. Washer. Screwdriver. Mr. Screw. Oh, that was almost really cool, wasn't it? Right. Do you realise it'll take me half a day to fix this up? There we go. Right. Now that it's in, well, actually, let's just double check it. Now, good news is, it's definitely far enough down now to clear the steel work. So we'll chuck a bit more spray in there. And this is silicon spray. It's, well, silicon grease actually. So it's dielectric grease. Cool. Okay, now I think there was something that held those wires back. Let's see if we can find that. Because we've got a little screw just there, look. Well, we had one there, didn't we, on this other one? I'm pretty sure that went on the other one because it was over there. So maybe there isn't. Maybe that's all you get with this. I think that's redundant. Would have been nice to have something on there, a little tab just to hold that down though. Well, that's a million times better. Anyway, I'm going to please myself with this for a second. Look at that. Brilliant. Well, I suppose this arm holds everything in place, but I would have expected a little tab just to be over the end of there to hold it down. Okay, so that's that half done. The main side, we've done the stop engine kill switch, and we've also done the headlights low, high, and off. Cool. So that's going to get quite a hammering, isn't it, when you're going from main beam to dip all the time? Pleased I fixed that. No wonder it was worn out. Well, that ball bearing had disappeared anyway. God knows where that had gone. Right, so what's left to do? We've still got this to fix. It really is looking sad. It's hanging on by about 4 threads, look. Wow, wouldn't take a lot to kill that off. No, I haven't got a yellow with a red tracer, I've only got yellow, so yellow it is. So how's that? Any good? That'll do, won't it? It's tight enough. Right, we'll chuck a bit of heat shrink down from the other end and we'll heat shrink that on. Okay, heat shrink, where is he? God, I'm dangerous sometimes. Oh, look at that. I like that. That'll do, grommet. Any good? I reckon that's about as neat as you can get. Pretty good. And the contact. So we've got to clean the contact up now. So where's that contact spray? Oh, what a video, honestly. Bench is a tip. Right, is that good enough? I think it is. It's actually quite clean. It's just got a little pit in the middle. obviously where it makes contact, but I'm quite happy with that. We'll leave that as it is. Right, how the hell did this go back together? Right, screwdriver. Okay, I've got to give this a bit of a clean. I'm going to do that off camera and then we'll get it all put back together. Hopefully, he says. Wow, if Mrs. Mechanic was home, I'd be getting called in for my tea now, which is away for a couple of days. So lucky you got me for a little bit longer. And I really want to get this together tonight so I can move on to something else later on. Okay, so I think Mr. Button needs to go in there like that. There he is. That goes in there like that. There we go. So he just drops in. That's how he goes. Like that. So let's get the screw back in. See how it sits. Where's my meter? I want to see if that works before I go any further. I do remember pressing the start button one day and nothing happened at all. So it leads me to believe that this could be the one. Could be why. Okay. Mr. Meter, you can hear the meter, can't you? So you'd have to see it really. Right, so we need one on there. Jesus, me fun. Oh, we could use this, look. We can use this. Stick that on there. Stick that on there. Right, that frees me a hand up. Stick it on there. Oh, look at that. Perfect. It works. Great. Right, so what's next? Well, all the wiring has to come out through here, so that needs to be massaged across. So it goes out through there. There we go, look. That was the easy bit. Now, for the rest of it. Okay, I need to put some more heat shrink onto these wires, so I'll do that now. Right, I've only got blue left, so blue it is. So we'll stick him down there about as far as we can get, and we'll just give him a little blast. Oh, sorry camera. There we are, that'll do. I don't want to go mad because I want to leave a little bit of movement on it. Donkey. Right, there we are. Reasonably loose. Running out of bench as always. So now we just need to pull that through, keeping it underneath. Okay, let's just try that. Can't believe that you can still see what's going on, because you can see better than I can, I think. There we go. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Assuming it all still works, which I think it will. Coolio. Okay, so the next job is I'm going to run some black heat shrink right up into the switch block. Not over long though, I don't think. Well, no, because I want to put I have got some sheathing that I can use for this inside the bars rather than tape. Might be easy to get threaded through. Okay, so there's maybe a short bit of heat shrink on there. You know, it's nearly 8 o'clock at night now. It's nearly bloody 8 o'clock. I'm getting hungry. I've started saying that on so many of my videos now. I'm getting hungry. What's going on? But I am getting hungry. I've been at it this whole afternoon. I've had a guy come down to talk about air conditioning. I've had the post lady turn up the parcel. That was right at the start of the video. A bugger all lunch. Is it hangry? Is that the word you use? Right, there we go. That actually is pretty damn good, isn't it? Right, let's just give him a bit of heat. That'll do, grommet. Okay, now I need to find some sheathing that will cover all these wires inside the bars. I think this will do the trick. It's the stuff that I used on the wiring to the points that we put in. So maybe it's going to be a bit tight with all these wires in there, but I think we might just about get away with it. Snippety snip snip. Right. You do not want to know how I got that last wire through that sheathing. You do? Okay. Well, it involved a bit of MIG wire, and I was able to thread the MIG wire through and then solder it onto the end of the last wire and pull it through. So now we've got all 7 wires. In fact, we'll snip that off now. We'll snip it off, get rid of that. There we go, look. Good old MIG wire. I was racking my brains thinking, what can I use? What can I use? And of course, MIG wire is brilliant for it. So there you go. All, is it 7? 8? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. All 7 wires through the conduit. It's nice and tight. Yeah, there's not a lot of. I don't think you get an 8th wire through there. I'm pretty sure of that. And well, switchgear is sort of, I would say, reconditioned. Really, it's about as good as I can make it. So what I need to do now is reinstall this back on the bike after I've threaded it through the handlebars. You're not going to see that. You're not. I'm knackered. And then I'm going to put obviously some new bullet terminals on the ends of these wires. Now you might say, well, Andy, there's 3 blacks. Don't panic. I'll just use my meter to work out which of the 2 blacks that do the engine stop switch, and the other one is for the lights. Okay, crew, well, that brings us to the end of this video. It really has to. The day is about to end, and I've got to pack up and bring all the bikes in yet. Hopefully you found it interesting. I'm going to try and edit it right down so it's not too boring, not too long. Otherwise I get complaints, don't I? If you did enjoy it and you're not already subscribed, why not click on the subscribe button? Whichever side it is, I always forget. And our friends at YouTube, well, they're going to send you an email. If you ring the bell, they'll send you an email to let you know as and when I upload any new videos. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals. I'll do my very best to get back to you. I can't guarantee it. I'm pretty busy at the moment. You can also flick me an email through if you like, and my email address is down the bottom, andymechanic@live.co.uk. Now, if you want to support the channel, you can do that through Patreon. You can become a patron to the channel. You can make a one-off donation, or you can just pay $5 to get into one of the tiers. Or you can do a monthly donation, even $1. It all helps. It really does, believe me. And there's been quite a few people, patrons over the years. There's still quite a few there now. And all of you that have helped, I really, really appreciate it. If, however, you'd rather use PayPal, then you can do that. And again, it's the same email address, andymechanic@live.co.uk. Okay, well, obviously, I've still got a ton of work to do on this bike, so there's bound to be lots more videos. See you next time. Cheers, crew. Over and out. Oh, get one chance of getting this right. So near yet so far. Come on, mister, you can do it. Yes, that's the sheathing. Phew. Ha. Right, it's a bit of tape to take off. Good night. And we get the flip up again. Oh.